Keelan, can you sing us a podcast intro, please?
Dun dun dun. Welcome to the Chaotic Voyage podcast for today. Thanks for having me on the show, boys.
That's right, thanks for the intro. Hello, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Cameron, and I'll be your captain for this voyage. With me is my first mate, Paris.
Yeah.
And cannon loader, Keelan.
Cannon loader Keelan.
Yeah, that was Paris's creation.
He stayed up all night to come up with that nickname. I like it.
It takes him a while to think of things, so
It paid off though, right?
Yeah, I was worth the no sleep.
Yeah. I could have come up with something good.
Oh, so where's Paul Johnson today, Cameron?
He couldn't make it.
Why?
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 I don't know.
Who's Paul Johnson?
He's he's one of our friends. He always seems to have like a slight mishap when we want him on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
He's always off sick or...
He's supposed to be our second mate, but, he's never shown up, so...
The old sick of podcasting.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah, pretty sure he hates us. He's got another podcast that he prefers.
Yeah, he's too cool. He told me that, actually.
The Sensible Voyage.
He's got his own podcast where he just, makes fun of every episode we do. He releases it a week later and just laughs at us.
Just bags every minute of it.
Yeah.
Listen to these guys.
They're not even professional.
Should probably do a bleep as well.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Keelan, do you want to make
yeah.
a random sound?
Let me think. Alright. Beep!
Alright,
that'll work. Nice.
Alright,
so Paris, you've got some questions lined up, don't you?
I've got some questions lined up.
Jesus, vomit.
He wasn't ready for it.
Do my pre-podcast vomit. Get that out of the way.
Okay, you should have done that before we started then.
Should I start off with something we were going to talk about on the podcasts? Cameron, you already know. Keelan, you
already know.
You might not know.
Vaguely, probably not.
And listeners might also not know. This is a few months late, by the way.
Old news.
In the Indian Ocean, there's this island. It's called North Sentinel Island. And pretty much there's this tribe of people who live there. They live a primitive lifestyle. And they're one of the last uncontacted tribes. They have no contact with the outside world. And we know this because people have tried to visit the island before. And every time people go to this island, they get killed. This guy tried to go there not too long ago. American guy, Christian missionary guy, to preach religion to them. And obviously, he was killed. No surprise. As a Christian, which you are, what do you think of this guy's plan to go to this island and teach these tribespeople Christianity?
Well, alright, that's a hard-hitting question that, that we're kicking off with.
Yeah.
Straight to the point.
Yeah. No, I consider myself to be a Christian, but even so, I think there's a difference between having your own beliefs and trying to live that. There's a difference between that and then trying to almost force your beliefs on other people.
Yeah.
Obviously we know it's not just Christianity. We've all probably heard of vegans who, tell everyone that they're vegan. It's it's great for you to be vegan.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful, but you don't need to force it onto other people. Yeah, I guess it's stupid that he would try and go over there. I guess he probably thought that, I can go over there and make a difference. But
yeah, that's true.
But at the same time, there's not much logic behind it.
Yeah.
Considering how bad, all I know about the people is that didn't a couple of other people get killed by him years ago? Maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, there've been several accounts of people going there and dying. There was one, I want to say back in like maybe 2006 or maybe something like that, where there were like two fishermen.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
And they were like fishing near the island illegally because there's like I think it's a 10 nautical mile exclusion zone around the island, which the Indian Navy protects. But they were like fishing illegally there. And their boat drifted too close to the shore, and then they just got swarmed with these arrows from the tribes people, and they died. There's like a few different accounts, but that's like the most recent one up until now.
Yeah, because that one was an accident. Like, didn't they just accidentally drift over there? Like, they didn't
Yeah,
even
they
plan
like
on
fell
going there.
asleep in their boat, went fishing, and then they died.
Jeez.
Yeah. So we
That's
know
rough.
these people are like dangerous, and they'll pretty much kill anyone, even people sleeping. You'd think it's pretty harmless, but I think they just
Yeah.
see outsiders as like a threat, no matter who you are.
They are quite weird people, aren't they, by the sound of it?
Yeah, well, they
Yeah.
don't know any other way to be, I guess.
It's weird to think that they're like just people there who just aren't as civilized as we are.
Yeah,
I guess that's the way to say it.
yeah,
That they're just like they don't have our technology, even though they live in the same world as we do.
and like they're not even that far away from the next closest like settlement or city.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It almost sounds like something off a movie, like a group of people off like a fiction movie type thing. And it's weird to think that it's actually like in the same world that we live in. But I also think it's like if someone went up to say like a gang of like 10 bikies, and then they're trying to tell them that what they're doing is wrong and that they should do it. It's like
They're probably gonna get shot or stabbed.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's great to like talk to people about it, but yeah, there's a time and a place, I think.
When it's that like woven into their way of life, because that's all they've ever done and that's all they've ever known. It's a bit hard to just be like, hey, change your whole way of life. Here's a
Yeah.
book you can read that'll help. They're probably just gonna reject you straight away. I think the guy's
Yeah.
like intentions were good, but his plan was pretty crappy. Like, besides the fact that he was doing an illegal thing, you're not supposed to go there. What do you think the tribes people would just accept him as one of their own? Like, oh yeah, no worries,
Yeah.
mate. Come sit down by the fire and
Yeah, you free for lunch tomorrow?
yeah. They're just gonna see some dude running towards them on a beach with a book in his hand. They're gonna be like, threat, shoot.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he planned to achieve there.
What was his next plan? Because didn't he get dropped off by fishermen? But then
Yeah.
the fishermen went, didn't they? Didn't they sail away? So like, what was his next plan? Even if he did do that?
He got the boat to stick around a bit, I think, for him. He made like a couple of trips. The first time, like, he got shot at, so he retreated. And then I think the second time he went back and died.
Yeah.
But
That first time's just like,
should have been the warning. Yeah, I know.
yeah,
His plan
maybe
was
they
to
don't
like
want me.
to assimilate, I guess. His plan was to fit in.
Yeah. He seems like he's probably a good person, had good intentions, but
Yeah.
he just seems brainwashed as well to think that you can just go over there and... How many people live there? Like 100? Is it 50 or 100?
The numbers are not really known. It's like anywhere between 40 and like 500 or something like that. They just don't know. But enough to kill him.
Yeah, like clearly enough, yeah.
This guy also, I don't know if you heard about this, but this was revealed a bit later on. He like heard about these people, just became like obsessed with them, and it was like his mission to go there. He was like preparing to go there for most of his life, and he had this like weird ass like training camp thing that he did, where he got his missionary friends to drop him off in the wilderness somewhere, and then he'd get his friends to throw like fake spears at him and shout at him in gibberish in preparation for going to the island, where he'd be met
Alright.
with real
Wow,
spears
yeah.
and real
did not know
people
that.
with a real language that he wouldn't understand. Isn't that just...
Beep!
That,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes it weirder.
It was like a tribal boot camp.
He knew the threat
Yeah.
going in, and then
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he knew what was coming. And
Yeah,
he knew
he
long in
still went
advance,
through it.
he'd been planning for it just to go there and like, get killed straight away. It's,
yeah,
yeah, it's really sad, like obviously like for his family and stuff.
Thankfully, his family was like really good about it. They were like, don't blame or try to prosecute the tribes people because they don't know any better. Like, they were just defending their home.
yeah,
It's almost like they would have expected it almost.
Yeah,
Like if they knew he was going over.
yeah.
They probably think like he died doing what he believed in.
Some of the police officials wanted to retrieve his body from the island.
Even that would be hard, yeah.
Yeah, just too difficult. The islanders apparently buried him on the beach as well, so it'd just be impossible to get him. Just imagine like a cop showing up to the island being like, alright boys, form a line, I'm gonna handcuff
Yeah.
each and every one of you, and then you just get shot at with arrows pretty much.
Yeah.
Just wouldn't work.
You'd need so many police officers, yeah.
Yeah, it'd turn into like a battle. They're not gonna
Yeah.
just be like, alright mate, sure thing, I'll come with you. So if there's one opinion I could leave everyone with, leave these people alone. They want to be left alone. Simple as
They
that.
are weird. Let them be weird by
Yeah.
themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By not going there, you're protecting yourself, obviously, because you're not going to get killed by arrows. But you're also protecting them because, like, common diseases like measles and smallpox could wipe them out.
Yeah.
Like, we could just bring things that they're just not naturally immune to. They could just die. So, onto a lighter topic. I think Ethan actually tried to bring this up in the last episode, not last episode, episode 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because when I was editing it, I heard him like try to talk about it, but we just talked over the top of him. Sorry, Ethan.
Classic.
So now I'm going to bring it up. So there was a woman who was going into a Bunnings or maybe leaving a Bunnings warehouse, I'm not sure. And she slipped on a piece of onion that was on the ground that came from one of the Bunnings snags that a customer got.
Oh,
No way.
Anyway,
Get outta
it was
here.
a terrible fall, and she almost died, apparently. Near fatal fall, I think is how she described it.
Probably had like a bruise.
Yeah.
A bump on the elbow.
It could have been a fatal bruise, alright.
Yeah, near fatal bruise. And and so she's suing Bunnings, I believe. So now, in order to stop onion slippages, they are now putting the onion on second, is it?
So like you have the bread and then you just put the onion on the bottom and then the snag over the top and then
Sausage
sauce.
on top of the onion
Interesting.
and sauce.
Have you heard of this, Cameron?
No, this is the first time hearing
Oh,
of it.
right. Yeah, so the onion's got to go on the bread apparently and then the snag on top to avoid onion spillages and people near fatally dying when you go to Bunnings. So
Yeah, they've changed their whole snag construction dynamic. Just
yeah,
to-
it's probably the definition of a game changer, isn't it?
Yeah. I can just imagine them having like heaps of board meetings. It's like, how are we going to change it? It's like, I don't
Yeah.
know, mate. Onion goes on top. And it's like,
Yeah.
someone's just like, I've got an idea.
onion goes on bottom.
And then everyone just like celebrates, like
Yeah.
that little girl in the taco ad.
Yeah.
If you go to any place, especially any store, there's always going to be stuff on the ground, whether you like
Yeah.
it or not. And it's your
I
job.
like fast food restaurants. There could be like lettuce on the
Yeah.
floor, or like from
Yeah. And even in Bunnings, I think there's a higher chance of there being like a nail on the ground than a piece of onion. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like your job to watch where you're going and make sure you're not stepping on anything because like it could be anything on the ground.
That's true.
Like you've ever been to an actual barbecue or party before or something, there's always
Be-
on the ground. Someone's dropped like a piece of cake, spilled some drink, whatever. Stuff gets spilled all the time. You can't blame Bunnings, a big corporation, for some dude who dropped a piece of onion on the ground.
Yeah.
like there's safety things with everything, but at the same time, there's just like you've got responsibility of your own life.
It's not like someone who's left like a big puddle of water somewhere and
Yeah.
hasn't put up like a wet floor sign. Like, you know, that's kind of grounds to sue, I guess. But like a little piece of onion on the ground and someone just not seeing it and slipping over it, like, I don't think that's grounds to sue, honestly.
No.
Nah, it's stupid.
Every post I saw about it was just everyone just bagging the woman.
Yeah.
I know it's bad that she fell, and I hope she's alright and so on, but you don't sue the people just because you didn't watch where you were going.
It makes no sense to sue the whole corporation.
Especially because like it's probably a customer who dropped the
Yeah.
onion.
I mean, you're not going to find the guy who dropped the onion and sue him, but like, surely suing the whole business is not the way to go about it.
Yeah.
Like, they already changed how they make the snags so it doesn't happen again. What else can they do, really?
She's basically ruining snags forever, isn't she?
Pretty much.
She really
Like,
is.
the whole snag industry is changing.
Conspiracy theory time. She's a vegan. This is a plan to destroy Bunnings snags.
Yeah, maybe she didn't even buy a snag when she was there.
Yeah.
How do you not buy a snag when you're there? That's like the only reason to go to Bunnings.
She wanted some bread with sauce and onion.
And she just tips the onion out.
Or
Trips herself over.
yeah, yeah, the old setup.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, Paris. I mean, there's a small chance that she went to Bunnings to buy actual Bunnings stuff inside, but that does seem a bit ridiculous, doesn't it?
Even if you do go there to buy Bunnings stuff, you at least got to walk out with a snag in hand.
Yeah, you got to snag one, don't you?
Yeah, you got to snag a snag up.
Yeah.
So, I'm fairly certain that pretty much no one's on her side about this.
Not even her family, I don't think.
Yeah, her family's like, Mum, what are you saying?
Mum, what are you doing?
You're just making a fool of yourself.
Her kids are like getting teased at school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your mum's an idiot.
Your mum's the one trying to get rid of Bunnings snags.
Yeah. You're not my friend anymore.
Yeah.
You're not coming to my birthday party.
Yeah.
We're just going to eat snags.
Yeah. And onion on top.
Yeah.
Onion definitely on top.
Just like overloading with onion just to really rub it in.
Then intentionally like spill some onion as well.
On the topic of just silly stories like that, is the Abcde or Abcde airport story.
Yeah, I know what you're
I
talking
haven't
about.
heard this.
So
Another cracker.
after Bunnings onion slip, I had that one down because that reminded me. I've only read a couple articles on this and it was a while ago, but I'll see if I remember. There was this woman and her daughter who were travelling somewhere, and they were at the airport. The woman gives the person at the gate her and her daughter's boarding passes, and the airport staff member is like looking at the boarding pass and is laughing because she thinks that the name on I'm assuming she thinks the name on the boarding pass is like a misprint or something.
Right.
Yeah, or like a joke or something.
Yeah, or like there's just been some kind of error. But pretty much her daughter's name was spelt Abcde, but it's pronounced Abcde. So
Yeah,
pretty
bit of a
much,
shocker.
if I'm this airport staff member, I'm getting handed a ticket that just says like boarding pass seat 7B for Abcde, like Smith or something. And obviously you'd see that and be like, oh, that's kind of funny. That must be an error because no one's called Abcde.
Yeah.
And pretty much,
Yeah.
this staff member was laughing at the name, and this woman was freaking furious. Like, how dare you laugh at my daughter's name?
I can't remember what she was doing because there was a headline about it. She was like, was she trying to sue the place or was she trying to like, or was she just kicking up a fuss? Because for some reason it came up as a like news headline.
Probably trying to get her fired or something.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was
something
thinking.
along those lines, I think. She was angry about it either way.
I don't think the person got fired in the end. I think the airline would have been like, this is not something to fire someone over. You could see how it could be funny and how it could be a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, this woman was just not having any of it, and I think she made a video ranting about it, which you could probably find online somewhere. But I think,
good.
as a parent, if you call your kid something like that, you should kind of be aware that this kid's probably going to cop some heat for it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you got to take some personal responsibility.
If you're going to consider a name, you've got to actually think ahead, not just call your kid something really out there. Because it's not just, like, it's your choice, but it's them who has to obviously live with the name, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this staff member was apparently like pointing and laughing at the little girl or something, which I find
Oh.
like that's a bit different.
I feel really sorry for the girl, for the kid.
Yeah, and now her name's like plastered all over the internet and like news websites.
I thought you were gonna say that her name is now Plaster. I was just like, how does that help?
Might as well have been.
Fixes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to like discredit the woman or whatever because I wasn't there, but I just can't believe that this person was pointing and laughing. Like, surely not,
Yeah, that part seems fake to me.
because that's kind of something you'd say to reinforce your point, to try and prove you're right.
Yeah.
The way it seems to me is this person read a name that seemed like it might have been a misprint or an error, so it's like, that's pretty funny, starts laughing at it, and then if someone says, hey, that's actually my daughter's name, you'd apologise. I don't think you'd keep laughing and then proceed to point at the daughter's face and laugh.
Yeah, I find the pointing a bit, like, out there.
Like Nelson from The Simpsons. No one ever does
Yeah.
that. It's not a real thing.
Yeah, like laughing, I can completely understand. People laugh at lots of things, like if someone falls over at a skate park or something.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
to point and laugh at someone, that's just like, I don't see people doing that.
Yeah.
You rarely do it. I know the name is quite weird, but if you're a flight attendant, think of all the names and all the different nationalities that people fly. Like, you'd see a lot of names that you think, like, that I haven't seen that name before, or like, that's a bit out there or different. So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
You'd be aware.
you'd be aware, like, I guess.
Yeah, so I just think that this person's thrown in this point and laugh thing to kind of kick up a fuss and stir up outrage.
Add a bit of extra mayo onto the story.
Yeah, get more
Yeah.
people on your side kind of thing. Because people just don't act like that. I can't
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
the last time I've seen someone pointing and laughing at someone to like make them feel low or something.
Kids might do it. You might see kids
Kids
do it
might do it to one another, but not people
Yeah, not-
working at an airport.
in a professional environment.
Exactly. So I think, long story short, this person didn't get fired, but the airline was like, we're reviewing our policies and telling all staff members to act in accordance with those policies, which is a very
Yeah.
basic answer, but I think it was the right answer, because that's not something to fire someone over. Just a funny story either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next thing I want to bring up, Keelan, what do you think of Polar Express?
Ah, Polar Express. I've only watched it once when I was, I think, in grade 4, maybe at school, and I thought it was great.
Damn right.
Grade 4, probably like, how would I have been, like 10 or so. So yeah, obviously I haven't seen it in over a decade, so don't remember too much specifically about it, other than I thought it was a good Christmas movie. But I think
Yeah.
I also saw it for a school excursion, like at the end of the year, and we went to the cinemas to watch it. So it was like, when you're a kid and you go to the cinemas, it seems pretty cool. So that might have added to like why I enjoyed it.
It is pretty cool.
But I remember on your previous podcast, someone hated it, or was it a couple of you hated it?
Someone did.
A
yeah,
couple, I think.
A couple.
Ethan had very strong opinions about it.
He sure did.
I'm not a huge fan of it from remembering
But
what I've
it's
seen of
not terrible, right? Just want to put that out there. It sounds like Ethan hates it.
It's like, hate is such a strong word.
That's why he uses it.
it. Yeah. He hates this movie. This movie like killed his parents. That's how much he hates it.
Yeah.
He hates it like the Sentinelese tribes people hate outsiders rocking up to their island.
So, quick question,
Yeah.
Paris.
Yeah,
Did you bring this up with Keelan on the podcast so you'd have someone to agree with you?
no. Next
You
topic.
should.
Yeah, remember at work you said come on the podcast so that I've got a Polar Express fan.
another
I'd
Polar
believe it,
Expresser.
though.
Polar Express advocate.
A polar expressionist
Yeah.
is what the fans call themselves.
Do you want me to get Ethan back on the podcast?
No.
You can tell it to him.
We're going to have a debate about Polar Express, are we?
Every guest we have on from now on, if they agree with Paris, he's going to make a compilation. Let's release it. It's just like the I agree with Paris compilation.
Sounds like a good compilation to me.
Well, of course it does.
Just listen to it like every night before bed so that you sleep well. Like,
So he thinks people agree
So I
with him
don't cry to
sometimes.
sleep.
I mean, you will anyway, but
Oh. So, Keelan,
yes.
I understand that you had a pretty bad sporting injury semi-recently. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. Sporting injuries. You're probably talking about
When you
it was I
broke
think
your
it
face
was
off.
when my face broke.
Yeah.
That was in May. So not May just gone, 2018. It was May of the year before,
Was it really that
2017.
long ago?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah. So I was just playing footy, just standard sort of game. It was only 5-10 minutes in. Couple of blokes, one on each team, sort of going for the ball on the ground, and I was sort of standing like a meter away, and I got a shove in the back from one of the other players, and I just went forward and with a fair bit of speed, and I just whacked my face onto the back of someone's head. I could tell straight away that something wasn't right. Like I could tell it was pretty bad, and I went off, and then trainers said to like try and ice it a bit, but I knew that if like a bone's broken, when you try and ice it, it makes it worse.
Yeah.
So I knew it was getting worse, and I was trying to watch the game on the other side of the field, and it was pretty blurry as well. So like went into the rooms and stuff, waited for the ambulance, and then yeah, got a nice ride to the hospital,
nice.
and yeah, they got it checked out, and it was broken pretty badly. It was like, it's hard to describe without pointing obviously over here, but it was like the middle of my cheekbone was sort of like caved in, so it was sort of broken in 4 spots, so like where it connects up to each side and then down.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I had to come back for surgery later that week. So I got that fixed. It's pretty incredible actually what they did. They put a couple of plates into my face to keep it all together. Yeah, and then eventually got better. It's pretty good now. The only thing that I still find is it's actually really sensitive when I'm shaving, like on that one side. But it sort of reminded me like it's pretty cool like what the surgeons could do. They pretty much like fixed my face and made me look like not as ugly.
Nice.
That's impossible. That's a
Yeah,
miracle.
like imagine if we lived in like the 1800s or maybe even earlier, when there's like there wasn't that sort of surgery. Like, what do? You just sort of look ugly and have a wonky
Yeah.
face for your whole life. It's like,
Mm.
yeah, pretty lucky to like live in today's like society. But
That story's like way better than all of the stories. I don't know if you listened to that episode we did, Keelan, but we were talking about the worst
Injuries or
injuries
something?
we've ever gotten. Yeah. And none of them compare to that. So.
yeah, well,
I think you're forgetting mine, Paris.
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
you
what
break?
was yours?
Didn't someone break
A
your
leg
neck?
falling out of bed.
Leg? Yeah, that's right.
Did you say break a neck?
Nah, break.
Didn't someone break their spine having a nap?
That's
Yeah.
a bad night's sleep.
Yeah.
But they put a plate sort of in there basically, so they were cutting like, I realized afterwards they were cutting really like just above my eye. It's like, and I'm thinking like, imagine the pressure on like the surgeons. Like, you're probably millimeters away from like, if you get it wrong, you're like blind for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine just rocking up every day to work and like there's that much pressure. It's like whatever they get paid, they earn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, getting a rush of customers at our work isn't actually as hectic as that.
Not as hectic, but pretty hectic still.
Yeah, just as yeah. It's probably the same.
Yeah.
They're both life and death, really. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You'd say that you've listened to a majority of this podcast, right, Keelan?
The one that we're currently doing.
No, just the episodes we've done already.
Oh, in the past. Yeah, I think I have. Yeah, I think I've listened to all of them, or at least in the background. Yeah.
What do you like about the podcast? What makes you a returning listener? Is it just because we're friends and you have to listen, or?
Actually, it's good to have on in the background while you're doing, I don't know, playing FIFA or, I don't know, doing whatever you do. But also, like, I actually don't mind it because you're actually, like, talking about the big topics, like, obviously, onion falling on the floor and
It's a big topic.
Polar Express,
Huge topic.
those sort of things. like the big topics in life. But like when you listen to the radio, like, you know,
Oh, they're just talking out of their ass.
they're talking out of their ass, and then sometimes people just try and overdo it. Like they're just trying to be funny, like
Yeah.
with nearly everything, and they're just trying to be over the top, and it's just like it's actually
Yeah.
just annoying to listen to. Like, and it's like, can you just play a song? And then the song comes on, and then that sucks too, and then it's like, you know, what's the point? Yes, I think it's good you're actually having like conversations about like topics, but you're not trying to overdo it.
When we were doing our test episodes, I wasn't expecting to get as good of a response as we got, I guess. Like, not that I thought we were just going to, like, fail instantly, but I thought the test episodes
did.
would give some kind of, like, indication if people want to hear more. And then I think, like, you and Awais were, like, I was actually pleasantly surprised. It was actually, like, decent or good. I don't know what word you used, but you were like, I want to hear more, which is good.
I love hearing Paris's description. It's like, so so-and-so listened to the podcast and they said that they actually enjoyed it. It's always like that note of surprise. They're like, I didn't think it would be good, but it was.
Yeah.
I remember Keelan recently said, like, there was one part of an episode where I actually laughed out loud. Like, not even kidding. You and a couple other supportive friends, in a ways, I think a bit of the reason
And always.
why we're tracking on and we're really doing it.
Yeah.
Because like, obviously we wouldn't make more episodes if people weren't enjoying it.
Well, we might.
Well, Cameron might have, but he might
Yeah.
need to find a new first mate.
Welcome to the Cameron cast, where I try to talk for an hour by myself.
I talked to myself for an hour.
Yeah, I think that's it. Is that land I see in the distance?
Wait,
Goodbye.